Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have signal. Oh, dearie me. Today we're here to take a look at some more Doom Eternal. Now, since the Rain Nix has not returned yet, we're actually just going to be taking a look at the master levels. And the reason why we're doing this is because I want to test the new General Lotz setup. As you can see and hear, we've got better webcam, we've got a substantially superior microphone, and we're running Doom Eternal here, 2K maxed out. Usually it keeps 60 FPS, pretty strongly actually. It does dip down here and there though, but mostly we've got 2K gaming experience. Getting a little bit of lag on here, but then I am streaming, and I'm actually streaming this in 1080p. I don't know how well that's going to work, but this is all one big test, really, to see how this whole system is going to function. This is one of those blue Yeti microphones that is so popular. I can see why. I've still got a few minor things and bugs to work out, of course. Most notably, getting rid of that background hiss. Not really sure what to do about that yet. Tried some noise reduction. And hello, Corey. But tried some noise reduction, but it's something I just picked up. It's worth working the 7 days for, that's for sure. I had forgotten how bad that old microphone actually had sounded. But back when I got that original microphone back in 2010, it sounded really good. I guess it still sounds okay today, but it definitely has become massively outmoded by today's standards. Now, what's really cool about this new graphics card is, you know, just at 1080 medium, it was chugging a little bit right here. Now it's just blasting away at 60k or 60 FPS. I'm most pleased by that. I've kind of decided to stick with NVIDIA cards for the foreseeable future just because I feel they work slightly better than ATI. Or, I don't know if ATI even exists. I remember hearing that it did. I'm not really sure. I didn't really keep up with it. The one and only competition card, I feel like they're not worth it. I had a lot of issues with my RX 480. I mean, it worked, but it didn't work very well. Oh crap, I am being completely slaughtered. The master levels are supposed to be somewhat more difficult. Somewhat. Oh, 4th of July. Going to be shooting off some fireworks, which is thankfully something you can actually do, so long as you wear a mask. Oh yeah, thanks Riders. Thanks for all that. Oh, I do not have any goddamn BFG. They weren't lying when they said this was going to be substantially more difficult. It's like, holy crap. I mean, they got a Yeti Cyber Demon and everything right here. Now, I sincerely hope everything is working. It's not buffering horribly. It's like, this is first stream with all the new tech. I sincerely hope it actually sounds legitimately better. After all these years with that classic microphone. I am so hurt, it's not even funny. Shit. Oh wait, no, I'm still alive. I still live. Damn, I was gonna try to get him. Yeah, they weren't lying when they said this was gonna be more difficult. Okay, we'll just smack him, we'll smack him. Ah, damn. Well, over the past week, I finally read the latest book, and I think it's the last book in the Eisenhorn series. I'm gonna tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, it was awful. I mean, it was terrible. It's one of those books where, you know, they came up with the plot after the fact, because they introduce Eisenhorn's real ultimate enemy. And what ultimate enemy was it? It was the Cognite, or however the fuck you pronounce the pseudo-Latin that 40k likes to use. It's like, really? Really, the Cognite, huh? You're just gonna pull that? Ah, thank you, Tintan Man. I'm glad it does sound better. Is there any buffering, anything? Is it streaming? There's no way for me to check that. This is totally a test stream. Because I'm streaming this in 1080, 60 FPS, which this new graphics card should handle. Should. I sincerely hope the webcam looks a little better too. But yes, we're using the blue Yeti microphone that all the YouTubers like. And I'm quite impressed by its build quality. Like, it's really damn good. Now, in order to get it to sound this good, it took a grand total of 5 minutes on YouTube to find a tutorial of using like some free software, and it's like, it sounds so good! Although, I have to say, it was kind of sad to upgrade the microphone, though, because I bought the microphone I've been using for literally 10 years. I got it originally because of a friend, because he was going to get one. He was like, oh, you got to get one, John. I was like, okay, alright, fine. And I haven't spoken to that friend in over, like almost 7 years now. It's kind of depressing, really. But, oh well. It's like, General Lotz can be depressed by a microphone. But that's one of those interesting things about humanity, though. Overall, though, I'm glad to finally replace that old thing. Because, well, just, the audio quality is just so much better. And hello, Riley. Oh, and it is epic indeed. We finally have, you know, 2K Doom Eternal. It's like, and it looks really good in 2K too. Although, it doesn't look so much better that, you know, 1080 Doom Eternal is bad or anything. It's one of those things where I'm quite pleased to have it, but it's like, it wasn't 100%, okay, maybe it was a 100% necessity. Maybe it was, because holy crap, does this game look good. There is a substantial difference between 2K and 1080. It's one thing, you know, I would have said, oh, there's not that big of a difference, but there actually kind of is. I mean, it's legitimately better in terms of its texture quality. Now, 4K, I'm not willing to pay 4K prices, that's for sure. Because 4K is expensive. Come on, grab him, grab him! Stab in the eye. But yeah, poor old Eisenhorn, you know, he basically... He got Star Trek Picarded, essentially. I think that needs to be a thing. Like a famous character gets Picarded, because Star Trek Picard, you know, turned, you know, Captain Picard, you know, a character people looked up to, you know, into a doddering old man. Well, the Magos, which was released, I believe, in 2017, it took me that long to get around to it, turned Eisenhorn, you know, one of the coolest Warhammer 40k characters of all time, into a doddering old man. And literally, it's got one of the other major villains of the series, like, basically just straight up saying, you know, Eisenhorn, you're such an asshole, that's why you don't have any friends. It's like, really? Really? It's like, oh my good god. Now, the Magos did introduce a cool character that was a Magos. However, I don't know how canonical it is, simply because the Magos character in the book doesn't have any augmentations. Like, he's literally just a standard fleshy human, which... isn't really, it's not entirely 40k. The Lost mission from the latest Doom 64 port. I have not made it to that point yet. I haven't been able to play Doom 64 in like several months. I do know, I think I know which one you're talking about though. The one where Doomslayer actually stays in hell, and it's a direct prequel to Doom 2016. I've seen a Let's Play of that on YouTube. I quite like the fact that they, after the fact, added it. That's one of the few times a franchise was able to after the fact something and actually make it, well, not suck. As I was saying earlier about the last Eisenhorn book, The Magos, where Eisenhorn gets a real ultimate villain that was never mentioned in any of the Eisenhorn or Ravenor books. It's like, oh yeah, evidently that was his ultimate villain. Now, I do like the fact that they did bother to go ahead and actually tie Doom 64 to Doom 2016. I think his AI broke. This new setup is so epic, it literally stunned the monster for me. And stabbed in the face. It's one of those things where I'm just really surprised how seriously id Software took Doom. I mean, they could have easily just, well, done a COD and instead went back to a game that's over 20 years old on the N64 no less, to make it all work canonically. It'd be nice if any other franchise did that, but I guess that's why Doom is eternal and everything else is, well, kind of ruined. Now, I did actually look up what everybody hated about Last of Us 2, so at least I have some idea, some point of reference as to why everybody's mad about it, and yeah, it does look pretty bad. I can't show too much sympathy for Last of Us fans just because, well, I've already had all my favorite characters destroyed in more than just the one franchise, so yeah. So yeah, and hello, Turok Fire Seed. Let's see. And the Doom 64 on Steam is quite a good port. Although I gotta say, Brutal Doom 64 is slightly better, but then again, that's kind of to be expected. I suppose I can stream Doom 64 at some point. Although it wouldn't exactly show off the graphical prowess of the RTX 2060 Super. Evidently, this is something called the Founders Edition, whatever that might or might not imply. I guess that's good? Or something? I do not know. Damn, it's a good thing I had all those extra lives. Because holy crap is this difficult. Substantially more difficult than the base campaign. And this has only hurt me plenty. I can't imagine what this would be like on, Oh, you're trying to be like from Doom, from Project Brutality, are you? Well, I'll just stab you in the eye. Bastard. You bastard. I'm looking forward to listening to my own stream after this, just because I really want to know how good or how bad this actually sounds. Resident Evil series, new version of Doom 64EX. I'm not surprised that's an updated version of an already existing fan port. I think like the Sonic ports are basically just ports of an already existing fan port. Because, well, the fans do all the work and, the lazy do— oh crap! Oh, come on! And my thoughts on the Resident Evil series. I've got a couple of reviews of Resident Evil games on the channel already. Of Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 1, oh, there's another one I did. Of the one that, like, was like an online co-op version of Resident Evil that you can play single player. I think there are some fan servers of that as well. I think. Whichever one that one is. It's not Deadly Silence, that's a DS one. Oh, what was it now? I don't know, it was a PS2 one. Oh, I almost had it. Resident Evil File 1? Something like that? Anyway, whatever the case may be. I'm quite fond of the Resident Evil series. Although, at first, I really was not. At first, I thought it was kind of boring, kind of crap. But once I finally adjusted to what it was... oh, the CPU's lagging out. Looks like that's going to be an upgrade for 2021. Still, though, I'm doing a lot of crap, so I'm not surprised it's lagging out a little bit. And there are a lot of monsters here compared to the base campaign, so I'm quite pleased with the performance. But anyway... Resident Evil 1 is pretty rough, but if you get used to the— if you give the gameplay a chance, you might come to like it. I actually like the original PS1 version a little more than the modern day remakes, just because I like to see just what they did with the PS1 and just how weak the PS1 really was. It's actually kind of interesting. The PlayStation consoles, well, at least the first two, were not particularly impressive machines, especially in comparison with like their competitors. But the developers did a lot— oh, crap. I died again. See, it's like you really need— like, if you weren't fully leveled up, you just die. You just, like, you just get evaporated by these bastards. Okay, run away from everything. But they said master level, they weren't lying. But it's kind of interesting that, like, the PS2, despite being the weakest of the consoles during that console generation, it was somehow able to dominate. I'm not really sure how. These days it's all about performance. Back then it was more gameplay quality. Oh, come on, die, you bastard. Blow him up! They really ramp up the difficulty here. I think the journos would have their heads explode if they tried this. Now, as for Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2 is pretty good. Oh crap, this guy. Resident Evil 2 is pretty good. It's a little— I don't like it quite as much as Resident Evil 1, though. It just doesn't stand out to me as much as Resident Evil 1 did. Resident Evil 3 has the same issue. Whereas Resident Evil 1's for me— Resident Evil 1 and 4 are by far my favorites. Just because I feel like they're more distinctive than the other ones. And of course, you know, I got Resident Evil 4. That was the first Resident Evil game that I actually played. I actually gave it a chance. Because years before, I had tried, that Resident Evil File 1, that's what it is. I tried that and hated it. But I finally gave— oh crap, run! Get him up, get him up! Ah, damn it. Ooh, those aren't just regular imps. I'd given that Resident Evil File 1 a chance and hated it, but Resident Evil 4, you know, with that third-person shooter gameplay, a character that was actually pretty entertaining, the old Leon Kennedys, Now, my first ever real experience with Resident Evil, what really kept me coming back to try the series more and more, was the books. There's an entire novel series. I've already reviewed the first one up at the channel. The novel series is what made me interested in it because I really quite like the universe and the characters. And if you haven't read those books, I highly recommend reading them. They are very entertaining. They're not like high art or anything, but then again, they're not really supposed to be. And in the books, Leon Kennedy actually uses a Desert Eagle as his police duty sidearm. In 50 AE, no less. And I'm not really sure if that would actually be allowed, but whatever. Although it's kind of funny, like some cops did have like 44 mags at one point, because that's going to be useful. I mean, I guess 44 mag isn't bad, but like it's not going to be particularly controllable. And also, some of the guns are done wrong, because like there's some ammo in water that doesn't work anymore, unless it's black powder. It still is going to, but still. I'll check the chat as soon as I get up here. FanMediaX. Resident Evil Outbreak, that's the one. I have thought about playing the Resident Evil 2 remake, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Code Veronica is really difficult. The Desert Eagle. I mean, Dreamcast collection. Oh, well, I'm glad that you got the Dreamcast port of Resident Evil 3, because it is quite good. I might need to play that. Just play it with RetroArch at some point. Serious Sam 4, I am quite looking forward to it because, well, Serious Sam is a game series that definitely does not get quite enough love. My biggest problem with Serious Sam, though, is of the first-person shooters of that type, I don't like it quite as much as Doom or Duke or anything like that. They're good games, but I gotta say, unless you're willing to really invest the time, goddamn are they hard. And they do get a little dull, because like you're always running backwards. There's always a shitload. Oh crap, I didn't know there was going to be a Marauder here. That wasn't there in the original level. I guess I better wake up now. Let me take a drink of water. Just a drink. Alright, now I gotta actually pay attention. Yeah, Serious Sam, I'm looking forward to Serious Sam 4, but it's just... that's a game better played co-op. Like, they're great co-op first-person shooters, but when you try to play them single-player, you try to make a video out of it, holy crap. And those last levels of Serious Sam, if you're not playing that co-op, holy, you're not gonna beat it. Damn it. Well, it's kind of pointless killing him now, but whatever. Shit. Ah! I probably didn't need to do that. The Marauder's just too hard. It's like, why can't there be like Marauder Defeat DLC? Alright, you bastard. Damn. See, the problem with the Marauder, when the Marauder only really gets difficult when you have a very small arena like this. Because there's not that many places to run, and he's got a lot of buddies helping him out. I don't know, maybe we can get him. Let's try the super shotgun here. Crap. Got him. Okay, I'm gonna need to hurt one of these. Shit. Okay, I need to hurt. Ah, crap. I need to hurt one of these guys so I can steal their souls. I did not mean to hit him, but I'm glad I did. Come on, just stagger one of these assholes. Or stagger two of them, that works too. I did not want to do a blood punch, but whatever. Let's just chainsaw this guy. Let's blood punch. It's like I totally planned to do that. See, that's kind of like a combo in some respects, though. Kind of like a combo. Okay, we could try to rocket him. Actually, probably shouldn't try to hit him with a empty firearm. Well, that's a plasma. Oh, I should have tried to... Come on. Got him! Haha! And people say the Marauder is difficult. Serious Sam games. Oh, they're good, but just keep in mind they're definitely going to be a little, yeah. They're going to be a little difficult, well, a lot difficult if you're not playing them co-op. Because single player, they are not easy. Because the mobs are ridiculous late game. I mean, like, they are insane. Honestly, I gotta say, I'm quite enjoying these master levels here. I mean, there's just so many enemies. It's like, I think the main game needed to be like this. Because this is a real challenge. Oh crap, hit him with that. This is actually a legitimate challenge here. But if it was actually like this, I get the journos would be like, it's just too difficult. Oh, come on, get him. And eat it, you bastard. Eventually, I need to do Serious Sam as a live stream. It's just I would need to get a co-op partner. Because it's just, it goes on a little too long if you're playing it just single player. And like, it gets dull after a while. I'm hoping Serious Sam 4 kind of fixes that a little bit. That way, you know, it doesn't get too dull if you're just doing it single player. That would be nice at the very least. And like, I get that that's like the base gameplay of Serious Sam, but it just goes on and on and on. It needs to innovate a little bit and have just a little bit more than than just the same hordes over and over again. Because that's one of the big issues I found with Serious Sam, is it just gets a little dull. Although I have to say, Serious Sam 3 has got to be my favorite of the Serious Sams. Really enjoyed the survival mode. I really enjoyed even the generic deathmatch. I quite enjoyed, actually. I had a lot of fun playing that many years ago. All right, and use the hell plasma. Shoot him in the fucking head. Be nice if somebody would give me a goddamn PFG. Okay, we need to try to kill him first. I just unlocked that hell plasma rifle a few days ago. Doom Game Reaper of Souls. Crow Team to try to make a Doom game. A Crow Team Doom game. Well, we kind of got something similar to a degree with Doom 2016, because that was all goddamn arenas all the time. Oh, you're trying to be like the Cyber Demon from Brutal Doom, are you? Oh crap. Okay, let's grab that. Just open up with everything. Looks like he got empowered slightly. I think by far the most difficult enemy in this game that I have found are the Mancubi. The Mancubi are extraordinarily difficult because they have some of those area of effect attacks. And the, crap. Well, there goes my last life. I had but 5 lives to live. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. No, we don't want to say that. I'm glad that is no longer a thing. Five Nights at Freddy's. That was like... Wasn't it like some kind of cult based around that game for whatever reason? It definitely had one of those interesting fandoms. And now no one remembers it, but you know what? The guy who made it, I think, made a crap ton of money for what I think is like... Isn't it like basically a Flash game or something? I know it was extraordinarily popular. It's one of those things kind of like Rick and Morty that everybody said was great, but probably wasn't. Although I admit I've never actually seen an episode of Rick and Morty. It just... I do not like that animation style. I find it unpleasant to look at. But I'm very particular about my animation style. FNAF, yeah. I imagine that there was a lot of the... What, didn't it have like an evil bear or something? I remember next to nothing about it. That was like, that is so 2014 or whenever it came out. It was like, that was like something from a number of years ago. One of those gaming trends that almost immediately fell out of the public limelight. I don't guess there was that much gameplay. I think, like, didn't you have to look through, like, surveillance cameras and stuff like that? And if you didn't look long enough, Freddy would show up and kill you or something along those lines. It's one of those games that I imagine has its cult fan base, but not much outside of that. It's kind of like Friday the 13th, the game. That was something that everybody played for a while, but then realized just was kind of boring. Now, one game that I should be interested in, but am not really, is that Predator game for the PS4. That's basically Friday the 13th, but the Predator. I wasn't particularly amazed by the Friday the 13th gameplay, so playing as the Predator, I guess, is okay, but eh. It'd be nice if we actually had a Predator game with, you know, a plot, characters, things of that nature. But alas, such a thing is not to be. Let's see, seriously. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Five Nights at Freddy novels. That sounds great. I can only imagine what the plot is. There's actually there's some weird novels I'd like to take a look at some point, though. Believe it or not, one of those Super Sentai shows actually had novels written based on it. Now, it never actually got ported to America. Well, Shout Factory did a limited DVD run of the show called Chojin Sentai Jetman. For a Super Sentai show, it is remarkably good. Like, it is remarkably not terrible. With actual plot, characters, motivations. They don't get their vehicles till late in... Well, late into Season 1. Well, late into the first 10 episodes. Since it's all one season, but still. And there's actual character in that show. Now, in the novels, according to Wikipedia, and since I don't read Japanese or speak it or anything, I wouldn't know, but in the novels, apparently, they don't have any giant mechs, and there's a lot of sex scenes. That is very interesting.
It is so. I must survive this. Protected.
Oh, I can only imagine what a Five Nights at Freddy's novel would be about, though. Holy crap! They just drop literally everything on you. I love it. It's like, why wasn't this in the base game? It's like, come on. This is awesome here. The only problem with having the microphone set up like this is that it needs to be directly in front of my face. So there's no real comfortable way to sit. Crap, no! Okay, that was my own fault. They just bring in everything to fucking kill you. They, as Timothy Zahn would say, drop the heavy end of the hammer. You better have everything upgraded. Or something close to it. This is the first time I've ever played a master level, and yeah, you better be a master. Just blast him, and I will take all of your hidden ammo. See, he has hidden depths. Let's see here. Huh. Unreal novels, eh? Now that's another game I need to actually review, but goddamn is that game difficult. It is hard to find anything in that bloody game. Unreal is one of those games that could definitely be benefited by a map. Because without a map, you have absolutely no idea where the hell you're supposed to go. Or what you're supposed to do. It's about as bad as Hexen in many respects. With a map, you could actually figure out some idea. Because, like, that's a game that I didn't play back in the day. But when I finally did play it, I was barely able to get out of the first level. Because it's like, where the hell am I supposed to go? Yeah, I can agree with that. I can see that. Because Unreal is kind of survival horror in some respects. I got that when there was a Steam sale. I actually kind of like Unreal 2 a bit more, because at least it gives you some clue of what you need to do. Although I never finished it, though. It's one of those games I just kind of abandoned. Chuck all bombs. Oh, crap. I just keep saying that because you can totally just get pinned in a corner and harassed unmercifully. Definitely needs to be canceled on the Twitters. Although one wonders when social media is going to go the way of the dinosaur, though, just because, damn, that cancel culture. Okay, we need to... And cut him! Blood and gore. I am so glad I unlocked this, because without it, I don't think I would survive as long as I have. Oh, crap. Ha! Thank you, random dude. Still, though, if this was a classic game, you would not get nearly as much health as you do here, that is for sure. Oh, I should have gone over and get him! Ah, shit! I got to have just... Get him, get him, get him! Run! That dash move is something I'm going to really gush about when I do the review. Because I think that dash move really makes this game really, really good. Because it gives you opportunities that you wouldn't have normally. Look at all these bloody Architrons. English good. Come on, stab him! Insufficient fuel! Shit. I totally meant to stagger that guy. I will check the chat as soon as I've not died. As soon as I have... Okay, there we go. See, this is what I call real gameplay here, because damn, this is good. Oh, they can insta-kill them, eh? And yeah, so, you know, I never really got into the whole social media thing, outside of YouTube at least. You know, posting on the Facebook and the Twitter, and I've barely used Twitter ever since it came out. So it's one of those things where there wouldn't be much there to be embarrassed about. Because I just never really used it. Oh, the CPU lagged out a little bit there. The energy release ability. If that's that charge shot, then yeah, I do have that. But if it's that energy ribbon thing, I have that too. I just recently unlocked that thing where after you charge up the fire blast thing, you can have that slightly powered up shot. He wasn't there before. It's like with this, you do that, and then you got that. Smack him. Which does help quite a bit, actually. Unrelated to anything, I utterly despise oak pollen. It's been giving my nose problems for the past month. This was actually a somewhat difficult area to figure out the first time I played it. Because it actually requires you to use a modicum of thinking. Just a modicum, but some. More thinking you would do in 2016, I can tell you that. And cut him! And cut him! I think you actually end up... I need to actually pay attention to the gameplay footage, but I don't think the Revenant really shows up late game. I don't remember seeing him all that much. He was definitely prevalent early game, but after a while he's just kind of gone for whatever reason. Release. I tried to use it on that, but it doesn't last very long, and I never have that much ammo for the plasma rifle anyway. And now, how Doomslayer is able to swing when he's holding this gun two-handed, I don't really want to know. I'm assuming he has tentacles growing out of his back. Like a filthy mutant. Now this part is totally got to be borrowed from... Also, I love how I can kind of see the, Architron. I can see through walls! You can see through walls! This was actually... Oh, I wonder how much more difficult this is going to be. Nobody owns anything, man. The shotgun is one of Mother Earth's creatures. Oh, that's why I can see him, because he's empowered, huh? I can only imagine. Holy crap, you gotta fight a cyber demon as the Revenant? This is amazing. I'm glad I saved this for the, what is more or less a test stream here. Needless to say, I'm oh crap, get him! Well, that helps somewhat, I suppose. There's two?! Holy shit! I will go on to rambling about random crap in a moment. I have to try to not die yet again. I will say there's one minor issue with the soundtrack of this game, and that is when everything gets really busy like it is now, it's very hard to actually hear it. Because I can kind of hear it a little bit, but there's just so much shit going on. I have to say I've kind of warmed up to the Doom Eternal soundtrack, much more so than I felt about it when I first played it. Because evidently there's different mixes of that soundtrack, and the earliest mix of it wasn't very good. Evidently. I've listened to some later mixes, and it's actually quite impressive. Yeah, about as empowered as a college kid. Oh yeah, talking about reclaiming property. There is a hilarious video of one of those rioters saying, "You're destroying its property." Wait a minute, I thought you didn't believe in property. It seems that's not entirely accurate. But hey, whatever. If they were consistent, that would take some of the lulls away from it. I know this has got to be a reference to two goddamn cyber demons. Although these cyber demons are not nearly as powerful as, you know, the ones from the original Doom, or the one that showed up in Doom 3 that can only be killed via the Soul Cube. But this has got to be a reference to that Resident Evil movie, which is god-awful, by the way. I know people love it, but it's terrible. Especially if you ever read any of the books or played any of the games. It's like, goddamn, that movie was awful. Oh, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna fucking open up all the things. Oh, it's probably where I'm gonna lose it. Shit. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. What if I use this? This is probably not gonna end well. No, it is not. It is not. I'm already down to 1 health. Get over to the health! Got it. Okay, crap. I meant to stagger that guy. Meant to stagger him. I did not mean to do that, but that works too. Crap. And dead. Now, I don't know if I have to go all the way back to the beginning of the level. No! Only have to do the checkpoint. Sweet. Huh. I did not know the tyrants are supposed to be based on that. The only problem with Resident Evil and things of that nature is, like, the tyrant is really kind of scary, and yet he's not really that useful, because what was his main attack? A bone sword? In 40K, okay, maybe that works, but in real life, you know, I'm just saying, if you can shoot something beyond the horizon, he's not going to do very well. That's one of the, that actually reminds me of something. You know, in a lot of this media stuff, it's all about the biological weapons. It's like, we got to turn the dolphins into, like, living weapons. It's like, I don't know about you, but wouldn't it be cheaper to build, like, a super torpedo or something that, you know, allows you to, like, shoot it faster than the speed of sound or something? I almost said faster than the speed of light, but probably don't need that if you're, you know, still practicing naval warfare, but you get the idea. It's like, the sheer technological sophistication you would need to create a living biological weapon, it would be the money would be much better spent on just a better torpedo. Now, of course, you wouldn't really have a plot. Actually, you kind of do in some respects. I mean, you got the Hunt for Red October, which is just a quieter submarine drive. The Caterpillar Drive. That is one of those movies that, it's also a book, which I have not read. I've not really been a big fan of Tom Clancy. I read, the closest thing to Tom Clancy I ever read was a book based on the game End War, which, that's one of those games that was, like, super popular back in, like, 2008 or 9, and then no one cared about afterwards. Okay, that was not well aimed. I'm not gonna lie. And then everyone forgot about it. The same way with another RTS that I was kind of fond of back around 2010. Oh, grab the health! Grab the health! Which I don't remember what it's called at the moment. It was the one where China invaded and there was a nuke that went off. I played a lot of that multiplayer, whichever game that was. It was one of those games that got popular for a second and then no one cared anymore. Doom is one of those franchises that has been able to maintain consistent popularity over the decades upon decades. It's like even games you wouldn't think people would remember, like Doom 3, because people really dislike Doom 3 for whatever reason. Even though I'm still quite fond of it even today. It was one of the Doom games that was actually somewhat scary. Somewhat scary. Okay, let's see. Do I have plasma? Yeah, I do have plasma. We get signal. Has one of those memes that has not managed to die yet. Even though it's an old meme, I'm still fond of the Bart I don't want to alarm you meme. Mainly because of the Doom version of that. Shit. I need to stagger. What? Oh, you asshole! Shit. Oh, that's gonna be difficult. That's Scorn game? Oh, Homefront. That is the game, yeah. I played a shitload of that. There was another RTS that got popular in the very early 2000s that I played when it went free to play. Let's see if I can remember what it's called. It was one of those early games that kind of got popular on Game Ranger and then it died. It was a sci-fi one. Not Command & Conquer. The only thing I remember about it is when you used artillery, you could actually have a nuke shell. Anything that lets you use a nuke makes me happy. Okay, let's try to work on these cyber demons first instead of running around. Let's try to be somewhat serious here. At least get them hurt a little bit. Now, it probably would help if I didn't miss every shot. Probably also help if I didn't do a blood punch. Okay, let's just hurt him a little bit. Nope, he's... I just want to hurt you a little bit. Just a little bit. 50 Shades of Doom guy. That's another thing that no one cares about anymore. 50 Shades of Grey. Thankfully that died. I hope. Come on, get him! Get him! Okay, do I have anything I can... Just... some area of effect. But, oh, I wasn't able to get to him in time. Let's see, can I jump over to him fast enough? Nope, did not. Can we hurt him? No, can't hurt him. Ah, finally got him. Come on, stab. Oh, I meant to glory kill him, but this is where glory killing actually does help tremendously. Crap. I did not mean to... You know, I gotta say, that weapon I'm using right there, the ballista, has gotta be the weapon I use the absolute least. Oh, come on, stagger. Please stagger. Please stagger. Please stagger. Nope, I'm gonna die. Everything is too powerful for me to stagger in time. Yep. God damn it. Twilight is coming back. Why Twilight? Why? What more do they have to say? Yeah, the heavy machine gun becomes obsolete pretty quickly. Once you get the chain gun upgraded, it's like there's literally no point to having it. Which is kind of sad, because at least it still has the micro missiles, but the micro missiles aren't particularly useful. What you primarily need in this game is the crowd control weapons. Especially, you know, for this, Okay, let's just continue trying to work on these guys. Okay, let's try to grab that health. Okay, let's chainsaw, get some more rocket ammo here. Ooh! Haha! Hey, wait a minute! No, don't waste it on that, you idiot! Well, that was great. I totally meant to waste it on a generic zombie. I forgot I even had the Crucible. And of course I wasted it on a goddamn generic zombie. Because of course I did. Well, at least I still got some rocket. Oh, crap. Oh, get him, get him, get him, get over there! Get over there! Well, at least the blood punch helped. But he lost his stagger. At least I can stagger that bastard. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, stagger him, stagger him, stagger him. Haha! Even though I took a little bit of damage from these goddamn Ancubi. Thank you for staggering, dude. See, those paint elementals were difficult back in the day, and they're still difficult in this goddamn game. They look more like the Doom 64 paint elementals, which I quite like, because that is a game that actually tried to do something a little different instead of just being another port. Because when that game came out, there were more than enough ports of the original Doom. I'll check the chat real quick. Alternate. You know, the only problem with that alternate fire on the ballista is the fact that it has too long of a wait time, or a charge time, because while you're waiting for that thing to charge up, you've already been hit 18 different times and you're already half dead. That's all I got for the moment. And I will chainsaw you. And I will chainsaw you. Thank you for your business. And I will smack you with a blood punch. Well, that was pretty damn good. Let's see what time is it.
The priest must survive. I repeat, the priest must survive.
Here's priest. Well, they'll survive. So long as rock and roll survives. It's one of those games, though, where there is so much plot, surprisingly enough, that it's something that it's hard to remember everything that's supposed to be going on. Like, until I replayed it just recently, I'd forgotten what we were even doing here. Because we gotta kill... Actually, no, I know what we're doing here. It was the level previous. Because we were trying to find some celestial gubbin thing to find where this guy was, and then, yeah... The plot gets a little hard to follow at times. It's not bad, but it's like, what are we doing other than killing things? You actually have to think about what's happening. And there's just so much lore, I'm actually going to have to do some study of all the codex entries to remember what actually everything is, because I can sort of remember everything, but... Is there somebody still alive? Okay, there we go. That was just closed. I thought I had to wait for one of these things to die. Okay, well, I guess I'm going the wrong way. Oh, well, I'm dead. I do not know what is... Oh, yeah. I don't know, I mean... The whole porn with a plot and all the rest, yeah, I know, but at the same time, you know, you do have games like Dark Forces that have a lot of plot, and it's fairly easy to follow. I guess the problem is, this has so much gameplay that it's kind of hard to tell, like, okay, why are we killing all these guys? Oh yeah, we gotta get a celestial thing. And I like a lot of the plot in this, like the fact that you get another crucible, and that you use your crucible to kind of get one over on the con maker. But yeah, it is a little hard to figure out at times. Because it doesn't really remind you of what's going on. It's like, okay, wait, why am I here? Oh, we're going to kill Deeg, whatever his name is, because he's the bad guy. And then the whole Hell Priest thing kind of falls to the wayside. It's not bad. It's just, you get so caught up in killing everything that you forget, oh, why am I killing? Grab. I like this goddamn, platforming. I think it's great because it gives you something to do in between killing things. If all you do is kill things, it gets old fast. That was one of my biggest complaints about Doom 2016. Okay, come on, and do the thing. Yep, there we go. And bap. And we fall down in here and grab it. That took me forever to figure out the first time. So I'm still using modern gaming logic. This actually requires me to think like a classical gamer. It's like, you don't just walk forward and shoot things? Or chuck your controller onto the floor? I won't blame the chat, I'll blame the water. Down if they followed everything in the Doom Bible. I don't know, the Doom Bible might have been too much though, because there's a lot of crap in there. Well, the Crucible was kind of a weapon, but it wasn't until late game. And even then, it's like half the time you don't want to use it because you want to save it just in case you might need it for something. The Crucible is one of those things where it's another good kind of crowd control weapon, like for the big guys. That way you can just get an insta-kill on them so they don't blast you while the little bastards are trying to eat you as well. I gotta say the master levels here have impressed me tremendously though. I mean, just so many enemies. It's like such a good challenge. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to do. Do we go over here? No, we don't. Or maybe we do. No, we don't. Yeah, I think you go over here, maybe? I don't think that's where you go, but I won't pass up a soul sphere. Because a soul sphere is very nice to have. Okay, let's see. Can I get up here? Oh, there it is. It's like I just played this last week, and I'm like, where the hell do I go? I've never played this video-based game before. Smack. Okay, there we go. And I do remember how to do this. If you do that... Oh yeah, that's not available yet. If you do that, you smack that. Smack that. Try not to get completely annihilated by the Hell Baron. The Flaming Baron. Oh my. Oh, but there's one rider wait a minute. Is there a archvile here? No, there's well, no, that's a crucible. Is there an archvile somewhere around here? Okay, no, there isn't. I was like, how are these guys getting empowered in any way? It's like either A, an archvile showed up, or B, there was a buff totem somewhere. Don't give me that thing. I think the ballista's got to be the worst weapon in the game, though. It just doesn't seem like it's that useful. It's just like it's a weapon that is really slow in a game that is very fast. I totally meant to do that. It just seems like it's kind of counterintuitive. I can only imagine how difficult ultraviolence is. Well, what's kind of funny about the Doom Bible is the fact that a lot of that story complexity did end up showing up in both Hexen and Heretic. What's really funny about Hexen and Heretic, though, is in the game, it's just, you know, your typical, you know, 90s first-person kind of game. But if you read the instruction manual, I actually rebought Heretic and Hexen both. No, Hexen and Hexen 2, that's what I ended up getting. Just for the massive instruction manuals. Because the stories for both games are huge. It's like really complicated. Like there's all sorts of factions. Basically, the instruction manuals for Hexen and Hexen 2 have what are effectively novellas. It's kind of interesting just where they went with that. Now, none of that stuff is really in the game, but it's just kind of cool how they did that. I think if they'd overcomplicated the story... Actually, in many respects, I could say that this game is as complicated as what was seen in the Doom Bible in some respects. Because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Like, Argent Energy, you know, it actually has a backstory that makes sense. So it works. I think this current incarnation of id Software did a great job in, like, that plot is there. And you gotta pay attention to it to know what's going on. Or you can just kill everything and just kind of... Actually, you can just kill everything and the story is open-ended enough that you can pretty much figure out what's going on. It's like, you know, con make her bad and stuff like that. without really getting around the killing. But once you basically piece together the story, it's like I'm not gonna say it's novel quality simply because it really gets into the album cover level of storytelling, with everything being super baroque in some respects. But they put a lot of effort into it. I would say it's better than your typical trashy fantasy novel. I'll say this, trying to find a good fantasy novel is just not an easy prospect. I don't know what it is. Because, like, fantasy novels just are usually kind of crap. I mean, even Forgotten Realms stuff is usually pretty bad. I know everyone loves the Dark Elf trilogy, but have you read that recently, ladies and gentlemen? Because I gotta say, Dark Elf, at least the first book, I have not reread the others. Now, by first book, I mean Crystal Shard. I said it was great and all, and it is. But it is solely a wish fulfillment / power fantasy book because, holy crap, is Drizzt Do'Urden a Mary Sue. I mean, he is such a Mary Sue. With his magical swords and his super special elfiness, it's kind of funny to me just how that all turned out. Now, let's see here. Limited ammo, ultraviolence. Let's see. Demon 2016. Nightmare once. I wouldn't even try playing it on Nightmare because that would be less fun and more screaming at the computer. Smack it! I did try to do a playthrough about a decade ago of Doom Nightmare, on the original Doom on Nightmare. Not easy. Sadly, I never finished it. Oh really, dude? Oh really? We shall see. See, like, whenever a villain just starts gloating and shit like that, it makes me think of, it's not really a song. Instead, it's a speech synthesis kind of thing of a rap musician, artist. I don't even know what you're supposed to call a rap singer, I guess. Whatever the case may be, the musical stylings of a rap guy named Notorious B.I.G., whoever that might or might not imply. Basically, it's a speech synthesis of that guy. Rapping the Navy SEALs copy pasta. So whenever a villain who really is not strong enough to really be gloating at the hero, I always like to think of that. Because that's what you'd expect Doom Guy to say. What the fuck did you just say to me? It is hilarious. It's just search it on YouTube. It's just Notorious B.I.G. raps the Navy SEALs copy pasta. It is very catchy. I assume Notorious B.I.G. is notorious for whatever reason. I know nothing about that particular genre of music just because I never really got into it. I've listened to some. It never really does. It just doesn't really do it for me. Skyrim and Dark Souls are two completely different kind of games, though. Because, like, Skyrim is more meant to be, you know, a wish fulfillment, power fantasy kind of thing, and Dark Souls is meant to basically be the antithesis of that. Although, they both kind of do the same thing in that regard, though. Because Dark Souls can be a power fantasy if you're good at it. Although it's one you kind of have to earn, whereas Skyrim, you don't really. And I will say this, though, Dark Souls is a better game than Skyrim, but I don't know if you can really compare the two. I can only imagine the comments if I did a video like that, though. Because I did a comparison of Oblivion and Dragon Age Origins, and I got such flack for that. It's like, technically when it comes to all of those Bethesda games, they're good for what they are, but they really kind of pale in comparison to similar kind of games. Because like Dragon Age Origins is kind of open world, but it has a better story, gameplay, and a lot of other things. Oh yeah, MLK and JFK versions are pretty good, but the BIG one just it's a good song in some respects. And it's just like, whenever a villain gloats, I just want to hear that. Oh, this is gonna be a tough fight. It was tough in the we got an Empower Demon. He went to college. Probably went to Portland. That's why he thinks he's empowered. Oh, I got him! Okay, let's... I need to chainsaw you! So I can have... Edge up! Come on, come on, come on. Shred him, shred him, shred him! Got it! Oh, that works too. I totally meant to do that. Alright, let's see. How long have we been going? About an hour. Very good. That speech synthesis... Ugh, I can't say it. Somebody needs to synthesize that. Speech synthesis. There we go. That's come a long, long way, though. It didn't take quite as long as it did in the Aliens universe, though. Aliens Music of the Spears had android musicians that could sound like long-dead musicians. That was a weird Aliens book, though. I mean, it was also a comic, but not only did it have a lot of continuity issues, because like it's supposed to take place in 2120. What? So 10 years before. 10 years before the events of the first film, huh? Yeah. But whatever. It was a weird book because you had the main villain, who I don't even remember who it was. No, I think the main villain was a musician or a guy who worked for a musician. Oh shit, we got it. Oh damn, this is where it's gonna get tough. We got it. We got an archvile. Yeah, the main villain was a musician that wanted to record a xenomorph scream because 90s, I guess. Crap. Are archviles ever easy to defeat? And like he kept like feeding people to the xenomorph, so he'd like scream, and it was very interesting. I found it to, it was one of those novels that I looked for years because I wanted to read it, and but when I finally found it, because this was like early 2000s, when I finally found that book and read it, I was so disappointed you have no idea. The only time I've been more disappointed with a book was Ravenor versus Eisenhorn. God damn, that was a bad book. I actually took it back. It was so bad. And there is no place for me to really comfortably sit with this microphone right here. Ugh. I don't have a BFG, unfortunately. Alien the voice. Father was really creepy. Yes, they were. Powered Architron teleported just... I do not remember that. Hologram of crap. A Dio hologram? Really? See, that's kind of interesting. That's something that's been going on since like the 90s. When they used to like cut old films together to make commercials. They had a... Oh yeah, poor John Wayne. They're taking down his... They're canceling his airport in California. I'm not surprised, but... It's like, really... Taking down John Wayne's airport? But I guess if they're going to take down Abe Lincoln... Oh yeah, and they did take down Abe Lincoln in Boston. I guess John Wayne isn't particularly safe, but... Really, going to take down his airport? But there's a fairly famous commercial from the early 90s where they cut together a John Wayne film where he was selling... they cut bits of a John Wayne film to sell a... I think it was like Busch beer? Or it might have been Budweiser. I forget exactly which beer it was. But that was like one of the first times anyone had ever done that. Which, I'm surprised it took them that long to do. But that was a big deal back then. It was like, the Duke is back from the dead! Well, no, it just cut part of his movie. It's like, I can only imagine what they would make of modern day YouTube. But yeah, they took down... They either are taking down the Duke Airport, or they're going to, do it at some... Or they're going to rename it to something. It's like, really? You're going to cancel him? I don't know, this cancel culture is getting nuttier and nuttier all the time. That's the one problem with those idiots. It's like, they think they're on the right side of history. And yet, what I'd love to see is like 100 years ago, 100 years from now, they rename everything and build all the statues back. But it's always kind of hilarious to see, though. Like, they actually think they're legitimately heroic in some respects. It's like, yeah, dude, sure. And hello, Emperor Snake. Alright, so the only problem I have with this new setup is I just can't, like, I don't think, actually, even if I move that, I don't think it would make much of a difference. Alright, I think we're finally getting close to the end of this level. And yet, I have to say, it's really not a slog. It is just on the right side of difficult. I think if this game was if just one element was out of place, this would feel like a slog. However, you know, I think I can see why this was made into just a master levels, because I think this really would kind of slow down the game a little bit in the main campaign, because there really are quite a few enemies to defeat, and so people would probably get kind of bored with it. I think I might have gotten bored with it, and so I guess it's good that this was actually made. Oh, please tell me we got him. No, we didn't. They actually fixed the pinky, where he's not. Oh, really? Did I fall off the cliff? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Run! Hey, I didn't notice this before. Smacky, smacky. Oh yeah, the power-ups in this game just aren't that great. And there's very few of them, too, compared to Doom 2016. And they ruined the Berserker power-up. I like the Berserk power-up in 2016. And my phone just went off. Actually, no, maybe the camera didn't pick it up. Not the camera. The microphone didn't pick it up. Since we actually have a fancy microphone. Oh, crap. Of course he's going to protect him. Yeah, well, we're still able to take that guy down. Okay, I think we're... Holy crap! Oh. And it is absolutely nothing. At least I didn't get one of those goddamn coronavirus alerts in the middle of the stream. It's like, those things are extraordinarily loud, and they like to do it early in the morning. It's like, God, just leave me alone, government. If you hadn't let those people riot all the time, we wouldn't be having these corona problems. Now, I recently read a book by Christopher Nuttall that introduced an idea that isn't particularly new, but is one that is kind of scary and kind of interesting at the same time, because such a thing, I think, could actually happen. Basically, it's one of those things where it's another Archvile? It's one of those things where it's another Archvile. It's about as scary as an Archvile. But it's not one of those things where it's half past the future, and computer technology has advanced to the point where you can back up personalities. Now, this thing, that concept has been around for decades by this point. But in this, anybody's personality can be uploaded to what is basically the space internet. And the space internet has basically become its own gestalt consciousness. You know, with its own personality. It's kind of crazy. I kind of like it. I don't like the idea of that, just because that's kind of scary. But at the same time, oh yeah, this is where the frame rate's going to tank. No, it's not, because we finished it. But the idea of a gestalt consciousness, that it just seems kind of... That's something that could happen, and people would like upload their brain to a computer, but I'm not sure I'd want to do that. That just sounds kind of creepy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, we have gone through a master level of Doom and tested all the new equipment, and I assume it works. So next time we're going to go back to a game from 2003. I'm sure it's going to give the RTX 2060 Super a workout. But until then, I'm General Lotz, and I'm going to wish you good 13 and Doom Eternal, whatever makes you happy.